This video contains a lot of heavy subject matter. Feel free to pause the video and read the content warnings on screen now. In 2021, I fired an editor named Rebecca Krulewski, also going under the pseudonyms Rebecca Starlight or Star Giant Productions. This was for workplace harassment, leaking private materials, being bad at her job, general narcissism, and generally being a bad person to work with. After I had fired her, I had learned that she had abused and underpaid many of her workers, many of whom were my personal friends. So, she had finally pushed me into making a video response on October 8th of 2021. I documented my experiences with Rebecca, and I gave a platform to my friends to speak out about how they were treated by Rebecca.
In one screenshot I took, I caught her demanding her editors edit their sections of one of her top 10 videos by midnight of the day she demanded it. Rebecca told me that I tend to be too suicidal and accused me of doing it for brownie points or manipulation.
While I was working on part 1 of every MLP episode from worst to best, she originally was going to have me do all of it. Even though it was $2 per segment, after I edited all the audio, the video was 45 minutes.
It is now March of 2024. I didn't expect things to change with Rebecca, but I was wrong. Things have changed with Rebecca Krulewski. Things have changed for the dire, and I have no choice but to make this video. I mean this with no exaggeration or sarcasm. Rebecca Krulewski is a dangerous individual. She's an abuser. She has created an environment of predation, and she has broken the law through her own cowardice, her outright malice, or her complicit behavior in the former. If all has gone according to plan by the time that you're watching this, we've already filed a criminal complaint against Rebecca. So, Rebecca, if you're watching this, you might want to watch the end to see exactly what the case is, and exactly where you fucked up. For the past week, I have been connecting the dots of the story of what Rebecca has been doing in the past 2 years, and even before that. The victims of Rebecca are numerous, and some of them were hurt in very serious ways, to the point where some of them are still recovering to this day. How this person still has a YouTube channel, an X, a Discord, all of which have been used to hurt people, I have no idea. I've gathered a team and done as much research into everything that Rebecca has done. Many of this team are from my own production team: Jordan, Coda, Wes, Sarah, and Grace. Phineas, someone who has been tracking Rebecca's behavior for a while, got in contact with me and helped me make connections to people like Lyle Convoy, who has researched a lot of the people tangentially related to Rebecca. Phineas has also connected us to many of the victims as well, and the people trying to help them, which have filled in many of the gaps in the story. Throughout all this, we even reached out to one of Rebecca's former artists, Maddie, who provided us with a lot of insight in her inner circle. Buckle up. I'm leaving all of the cards on the table. I will pull no punches. We are systematically going through every single thing that Rebecca Krulewski has done to people.
I want to say, I do want to clear stuff up, and yes, I do accept the stuff that was in the thread that I saw. All of it's true. I'm not here to deny it.
If you've heard anything about Star Giant Productions and the dramedy that that entity has been through in the past couple of years, you've heard of Nekopon. But even for the few that have heard this story, you don't have the entire story, and how bad it truly gets. Like Rebecca, Nekopon went by many pseudonyms, all of which are listed here. Her real name is Ariana Timble. She was born April 29th, 1994. And was nearly 30 when her alleged crimes took place. A user who goes by Endo would meet Ariana in a server that contained both adults and minors. In March of 2019, they went by the username Lizard Screams. They were 17, and after being told of Endo's age, in March of 2019, Ariana sent Endo porn. Then, going into April, Ariana sent Endo nude drawings of a real-life 16-year-old. Ariana is a piece of work. This mid-20s woman would write fanfiction of her and the 16-year-old engaging in sexual activities. On April 8th, 2019, Ariana read these pornographic stories to both Endo. According to Ariana's own admission, she started to date the 16-year-old around, quote-unquote, the summertime.
And when did you guys got together?
And when did he and I become an actual thing? It was like...
Yeah.
It was like... summertime? I'm not sure.
This lasted until July of 2019. Ariana would admit to many of these actions on a confession call.
When it came to the relationship, I realized, and I thought long and hard, I did not give myself time to get over a previous breakup I had of a 3-year relationship. And I ended up jumping into something that I ended up realizing this was a really bad idea. A really fucking bad idea.
I'm confused. What do you mean?
Like, he was turning 18 in like a month or so at the time.
Oh no.
18?
Well, here's the thing. There was no sexual. There was no sexual anything.
But why did you tell me that you do bad calls and everything to my face? All the time. You would smear it to my face.
You literally sent me some sexual role plays you've had with him.
Well,
You also talked about it in the group chat that we used to be in.
I meant like we're not sending nudes or anything, not like that. No.
But you still
Well-
had a sexual conversation with a minor.
And I realized that was the dumbest fucking thing I did. I accept that.
After this, the group tried to contact as many people as they could about Ariana's actions. Around this time, a Twitter user, Jay, wrote a call-out thread on Necopon. It brought up many of Ariana's scandals, from tracing to sending harassers towards her detractors. On November 5th of 2020, an email was sent to several people that Ariana had worked with, including Rebecca. It linked to this specific thread and a video on Necopon, asking Rebecca to do a background check on Ariana. On November 6th of 2020, the following day, the user who sent Rebecca the email claims that she did in fact read it. It is largely assumed that Rebecca showed Ariana the email.
Do you know what pisses me off even more? Whenever I introduce someone to my staff and then someone comes to me and says that they're terrible with no evidence or false evidence, or rather past experiences from years ago. Necopan is an artist of mine who starred in the MLP list. About a week after that video went up, I got an email saying that she was an abuser. I looked into this and Neko had to explain to me the correct situation. Well, she didn't explain the correct way. It was more like she explained the situation and that she accepted that she made past mistakes and toxic behavior. But the problem is that these assholes that were abusing her didn't believe that. Think like the I love Kim Possible a lot situation.
Unfortunately, Ariana had a lot of sway over Rebecca. No matter what the case, Ariana did figure out the contents of the email. And when that happened, she started harassing the victims, or sending people, some of which, who are alleged to be children, to harass the victims on her behalf. In this DM between Rebecca and one of her then editors, Grace, we can see that even by December, Rebecca trusted Ariana over someone she was then dating, lovely Lena. Lena claimed that Necopon was an abuser, and Rebecca was so strongly allied to Ariana that Rebecca broke it off. This is because Ariana, or Necopon, wasn't just some random on Rebecca's server. Necopon was one of Rebecca's moderators. Necopon was one of Rebecca's artists. On the 21st of April, 2023, Rebecca was brought into a Discord server run by Lio Convoy. Here, Rebecca was prompted to give her side of the story on the situation to Lio, Endo, and Endo's friend, Asuka. The call lasted about 45 minutes and ended when Rebecca stormed off.
Is sometime tomorrow?
Nope, this is the end. I'm done with this. I've been trying to tell you that this is the day I want to solve everything.
This isn't up to you. You wrong somebody else, but you're trying to set terms on when something's over? When you're sitting here going in circles? You really think that's how that works?
No, it doesn't. Go on.
Yeah. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to make time sometime tomorrow. And you're going to talk to them properly about all this. Because they got a lot of other stuff they need to ask you, including chat logs where you are talking to Rosa about Necopon.
I don't remember these.
Well, it's a good thing they have these chat logs then, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're going to remind you. We're going to refresh your memory.
Did she leave?
Oh my god.
She fucking left.
Throughout the entire call, Rebecca continually fails to answer questions, claims that she didn't read the email because it was in her spam folder, and so much more. It's through this call, though, that Endo claims that Ariana banned Endo from Rebecca's Discord server.
You're right. And unfortunately, I hate to state this, but Neko was one of my mods. So, whoops.
That's why I was banned.
Yeah.
And also,
That's why I'm kind of like, that's why I'm saying that there's possibility that there was a kid that was groomed and Neko must have banned them without you guys even noticing. Because I know you guys deleted your server. The original one where she was modding.
But Ariana was eventually banned from Rebecca's Discord server. After 8 months. For inactivity. Rebecca repeatedly claims that she didn't know or doesn't know anything about Necopon. She even said so in this 3-hour of a behemoth video she decided to upload, called Addressing My Abuse. We're going to be talking about this video a lot. It has since been taken down for several reasons, but it was re-uploaded and archived by several people, including myself. I will say, the 3-hour video is mostly about me firing her, and my editing is good actually, and no, I'm not a narcissist.
The two actual things that you cannot force me to do are to admit that I'm wrong, and you cannot force me to like something. Which means that you can't judge what kind of person that I am until you know me. You can't say that you could edit better until you have my knowledge, my judgment, and my condition. And it's not just random comments on various websites that get to me. People have made entire websites documenting what I do. The most infamous one is Kiwi Farms. I am not toxic or abusive. I have never been toxic or abusive, and I never will be toxic or abusive. I am not a bad boss. I am a great boss. I will stand by these statements forever. I am not a narcissist, John, and I do not have narcissistic personality disorder.
But along the way, she does take about half a second to address the allegations.
I don't know anything present about Nekopan, so people saying that I had a pedophile in my server knowingly for 8 months are all liars.
In her Discord server, she also took the effort to make sure to accuse anyone accusing her of having any involvement of the Nekopan situation of a court sentence. However, Rebecca would later contradict herself in this very same 3-hour video.
Speaking of which, I once had an artist named Nekopan. All she did was drew a couple pieces of art for me. The most notable one being the top 20 worst fairy odd parents video thumbnail. Back to Nekopan. She's part of some drama, accused of grooming. That is all that I know about her. Did she actually do this? I don't know! I really don't. People think that I still have contact with her. The last time that I messaged her was May of 2021. I don't know what she has done afterwards. Stop going to me about this person. I know nothing about her. And no one in my server has any contact with her currently. So if she's a pedophile or not, that is up for the police to decide, and not me.
Do you want to know why Rebecca did not consider Nekopan a predator? Apparently, according to Rebecca, it takes the courts to determine if someone is a pedophile. Let me state what should be obvious to everyone in the room. Pedophilia is not a legal determination. The courts do not determine who is a pedophile. They litigate child predation. Also, Rebecca is a liar. She is a manipulative liar, and she lies at every turn. Just this goddamn screenshot. I don't think The Loud House is pedophilia. Her second worst animation of 2020s was quote-unquote the Loud House pedophile episode. Also on that list, there was an episode of MLP where Spike was trained by Rarity as a joke. Rebecca also considered that pedophilia.
Rarity is a dangerous pedophile. That is what this episode is. This also then shows that Rarity has Spike chained doing a sexual pose. Rarity is an adult and Spike is a child. This is fucking disgusting in every single level. This is what normalizing pedophilia looks like. The sad part is this episode was doing fine until it brought up the notion of normalizing pedophilia. This is even worse than Fluttershy's entire arc on pedophilia that lasted multiple episodes, because at least in that arc, she never encountered any children throughout it.
I am Rare Easy, mother of dragons.
Rebecca does have a habit of deleting her footprints. It's the smartest thing that she does. It is the only smart thing that she does. The Discord that we're getting many of her quotes from has been deleted, and it has been since I made my original response video. But to prove that this is indeed Rebecca Królewski, here is her picture displayed from this account that matches a picture currently on her channel. Rebecca deleted that worst of the 2020 list that shows that she doesn't understand pedophilia. For that reason, among others. Like believing that South Park's pandemic special had Randy Marsh literally cause the pandemic. Like, in the real world. Rebecca has no clue what the fuck pedophilia even is.
This is why I hate the cartoon community, by the way, because they're not a community in the slightest. Saying that their community is like saying that a group of pedophiles is a community.
She didn't know what a pedophile was until she turned 20. She has a ban list from her Discord, where many people have been quote-unquote banned for being pedophiles. I say quote-unquote because, okay, we just have to talk about Rebecca's ban list. It is the stupidest shit I've seen in my life. She has people like Butch Hartman on the list, Danny Elfman, EDP, David Zaslav, Donald fucking Trump is banned from Rebecca's Discord server. And for good measure, Joe Biden is too. Rebecca also has banned Tara Strong, a Jewish woman that Rebecca herself called out on Tara's takes on the Israel-Palestine conflict for quote-unquote anti-Semitism. This ban list is real, I assure you. 22 people on it have been banned for pedophilia, one of which does include Nekopan. But there is also Cosmodor, who has never been to court over his misdeeds and was guilty of grooming, not pedophilia. Bill Cosby, who is convicted of rape, not pedophilia. Toon Critic, who has not been to court. Ray Rance, who has not been to court. Mondo Pony, who has not been to court, John Crickfalusi, who couldn't be taken to court because the statute of limitations had passed. Oh, I'm sorry. No, she apparently considers people pedophiles when they are brought to her attention, except for the artist and mod who was untouched for 8 months. Before the Necopon situation, Rebecca was so gung-ho on accusing everyone and anything she could of pedophilia that she ended up actually getting into legal trouble. She was so on accusing people of pedophilia that she had a cease and desist from Julia Vickerman. Yes, that Julia Vickerman. 12 forever, Julia Vickerman. From that day forward, Rebecca decided that she would never consider calling someone a pedophile unless determined by the courts. So, to ask why she didn't want to do anything to stop a child predator in her Discord, her moderation team, her staff, she was a fucking coward afraid to be sued by Julia Vickerman. She was afraid to lose money instead of doing something that's right. Except, even that excuse doesn't make much sense, does it? Rebecca's rants of the Pedophilia Loud House episode, the Pedophilia Pony Life episode, those were in 2020. Late 2020. An entire year after she was threatened with legal action over Vickerman. She was also planning on making a video about Cosmodor. Let's also not forget, you can't get sued from removing someone from your Discord server, dumbass. You can't get sued from removing someone from your moderation team. And I highly doubt that Necopon was under any sort of employee contract. But let's give Rebecca as much benefit of the doubt as we possibly can. Maybe the case was fuzzy. After all, I do believe in innocent until proven guilty. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding, and Rebecca was just sticking by a friend. Let's see what Rebecca has to say about Necopon in her follow-up video, when she finally realized that playing stupid wouldn't work for this one. Yes, after Rebecca's behemoth 3-hour video, she made another one, like 2 weeks later. This one was much shorter, thankfully, but it's still 20 minutes of, no, my editing was good actually, I shouldn't have been fired, you're the abuser. But she does stick talking about Necopon at the end.
The last issue that we get to talk about today is my biggest fuck-up, regarding Necopan. I fucked up big time with Necopan. People tell me that she was a creep, with emails and even videos as evidence.
Oh, so the accusers not only had emails, but they had videos too?
But Neko manipulated me into thinking that she wasn't.
I don't know anything present about Necopan, so people saying that I had a pedophile in my server knowingly for 8 months are all liars.
Sorry, that clip just kinda slipped in there. Back to your regularly scheduled Star Giant productions.
A part of me on why I didn't ban her earlier was that in 2019 I accused someone else of being a creep, but then they got their lawyer to try to sue me, but I was able to avoid it because I took the video down.
So, Rebecca Kraleski, in your opinion, making a video stating this is the equivalent of simply banning someone from your server. You're a moron, objectively. In the 8 months that you were privy to Necopon's actions, you didn't tell anyone at all. Oh, I almost got sued by someone for claiming that they were a pedophile. You know, so they could have ass-blasted you and tell you that you don't have to give Neko a reason that you kicked her to the curb. That's not a requirement. And that's why people who talk about this shit outright use the word allegedly.
And I was afraid if I called Neko a creep, I would have had the same issue. Plus, she wasn't arrested, so that kind of had problems.
Neko was not accused of being a creep. Neko was accused of child predation. Being a creep is a matter of opinion. In my opinion, Rebecca Kraleski, you are a creep. But you can't sue me over that because it's my opinion.
I did keep a creep on my server for 8 months. I will admit that.
See, this is why I spent so much time digging and going through everything. Rebecca, you did not keep a creep on your server for 8 months. You kept an alleged groomer on your server's moderation staff for 8 months.
But I did that only because I thought she wasn't a creep.
Why? What evidence did Ariana provide to you?
And she was nice to the people on my server.
Rebecca, being nice is how a lot of pedophiles and groomers lure in their victims.
Until I learned that she wasn't.
What evidence changed your mind? The emails and videos didn't sway you in any regard?
Like, if I had known sooner that she was a creep, I would have banned her immediately.
Rebecca, one of the victims talked to you. Personally. I have to say, Rebecca, it all sounds like you had a really good relationship with this groomer to believe her over all of the evidence.
Neko is one of the main reasons why I don't allow minors anymore on my server.
So, your defense to your your repeated 8-month fuck-up is that there is someone you now agree is a child predator. You let them stay unmolested on your server for 8 fucking months. One that you just admitted you let minors on. 8 months is enough time for someone to get pregnant and give birth, Rebecca. I have to reiterate, this brief bit about Necopon is in a video that is 90% talking about her stupid drama with me, and how wonderful a staff member she was. She just stuck this at the end, after picking her nose randomly in the middle.
which in hindsight, social media should not have minors, but again, another story.
Ah, yes, that's the problem here, the fact that minors existed at all.
People like Phantom Strider and Kai Smash Universe told me that Neko was a good person, so I listened to them and left it at that. At present, they both think that she's a horrible person.
Okay, I don't know about Kai. In the production of this video, I have learned that Kai Smash Universe was Nekopan's boyfriend, and they were dating at the time that they were in Rebecca's server. No shit they would vouch for Nekopan. But let's talk about Phantom Strider, because Rebecca repeatedly tries throwing him under the bus. Ariana and Phantom Strider were friends, and Ariana even worked for Phantom Strider as a translator. According to Lyle Convoy, the second that Phantom Strider got wind of this, he got rid of Ariana immediately. And now Phantom Strider doesn't like talking about Nekopan. Please do not contact or ask Phantom Strider about Nekopan. Remember, Rebecca is throwing Phantom Strider under the bus to save her own skin. Every action or inaction that Rebecca has taken along the way has disgusted me in ways that I never even thought possible.
Your sins should not be forgotten, Rebecca. No, they should. If enough time has passed, then it's best to move on from them. Especially when they're minor or might not exist.
Excuse me, fucking what?
Especially when they're minor or might not exist.
We need to hear that again.
Especially when they're minor or might not exist.
I can't believe that I caught that out of your verbal diarrhea. That's like a sick fucking joke. You put minors in danger. Yeah, a minor sin. Fuck you! Do you know why we don't forget sins like this, Rebecca? Because these are sins that need to be learned from and remembered. But these are sins that you refuse to learn from. Because, believe it or not, this isn't the only time that Rebecca has done this. Rebecca has committed this exact same quote-unquote mistake 3 fucking times.
He has been extremely inappropriate to minors and has been making racist comments like the one right here that he did on Wubcake. Known voice actors on YouTube has said this disgusting, asinine claim of why he would not have mixed children.
Sean Soar was another one of Rebecca's artists. Words from the horse's mouth.
My artist Sean Soar would love to draw the character Hilda from Hilda, an 11-year-old girl, in sexual clothing, and not age her up at all.
You sound very surprised, Rebecca. Shocked and appalled even, despite the fact that I've seen worse shit in your DeviantArt favorites.
Rebecca has favorited fetish art of Rosa from Pokemon, age 12. May from Pokemon, age 10. Star Butterfly from Star Versus, age 15. Luz and Amity from Owl House, age 15. Windy Pines from Gravity Falls, age 15. And Boonchoy from Amphibia, age 15. Susan and Mary Test from Johnny Test, age 13. Callie from Splatoon, age 14. Mari from Amari, age 16. Candace from Phineas and Ferb, age 15. Pichu, the baby Pokemon. Madoka from Madoka Magica, age 14. Homura from Madoka Magica, age 14. Akko from Little Witch Academia, age 16. Uraka from My Hero Academia, age 15. Ash from Pokemon, age 10. Chihiro from Danganronpa, age 17. Chihiro from Spirited Away, age 10.
For Sean, dozens of people in my server complained to me about this, and this was all of last year.
Good to know. Dozens of people told you about this over the course of an entire year. This screenshot also shows Sean's other unwanted behavior, bullying, which is something else apparently you never did anything about.
But I was a nice person and decided to let this person continue being on my server.
This person that was drawing sexualized images of underage girls, that was bullying people, that dozens of people complained to you over the course of an entire year. What does it take to get banned by you?
Because I'm an idiot. Apparently I'm an idiot.
That's one possibility, but I can think of another.
I just on occasion would delete his art, but not all the time.
I'm guessing that he'd occasionally draw pieces that you liked. I mean, why else would you hire him as an artist? Yes, Rebecca hired Sean Soar as an artist, and Rebecca hired Sean Soar over a much better artist that she let go.
Then one day he posted a real picture of a girl the same age as Hilda in a bikini on his Twitter.
Oh, so how did this one go, Rebecca?
Now he claims that it's his cousin.
That doesn't improve the situation in any way, Rebecca. Sean Soar is also someone who wrote pedophilic fiction, by the way. Here are some examples of his literary prowess.
But it's not the legal shit that was bothering me. It was the fact that he kept doing this shit, even being told numerous times to not do it.
Okay, so let me get this straight, Rebecca, so I can file that police report. This person posted a picture of a real little girl in a bikini on your Discord, after a history of pedophilic drawings and fiction. And apparently, you weren't afraid of any legal recourse this time. But you kept this person around, until they did it repeatedly.
I DM'd him on Discord to make sure what he was doing was legal, and he told me it was.
This isn't about the law, Rebecca.
Seeing a minor in a bikini is legal, but...
This isn't about the law, Rebecca.
Either way, I told him to not do it again. Then just a couple hours later, he would post a picture of Hilda again in a sexual manner, and had a fictional adult in the background in love with her with hearts around this man that looked 30 years old.
To be as fair as I can, Rebecca apparently did ban Sean Soar. Twice, actually. Sean Soar is the only name that appears twice on Rebecca's ban list. Because even after all of this, she apparently doesn't even know who the fuck the guy is. Blaming someone called Gary Fan, which created confusion and made people think this Gary Fan person was Sean Soar all along. Something the guy has been constantly trying to explain to people ever since the news broke. You know what the most angering part of all of this is? The sexual exploitation, obviously. But just below that is that Rebecca thinks that this video makes her look good, or exonerates her, or something. This is Rebecca defending herself. This is what she put out there herself. This is after the Nekopan situation, and every piece of shit flung at her for it.
When I was showing all of this to Jedobread, explaining why I fired said artist and why my girlfriend Leslie banned Sean from my server, Jed's mom came in and saw this, and thought that I hosted a child sex trafficking ring.
Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because you always seem to have a degenerate on your team. Like one we happen to uncover during this investigation. Brandon the Brony Pony. He is a voice actor on Rebecca's projects. He's also known for sending porn in a server full of minors, asking for erotic audio of a minor. Just so much fucking shit. But no, according to Rebecca, it's been confirmed that Brandon isn't a pedophile. Because she's known him for 7 years and he's never been arrested. You know, kind of how like we all knew Bill Cosby for 40 years and he was never arrested. Once is an accident. Once is a mistake. A major mistake that should drag on you for years. But fine, we can call it a mistake. Twice even. We could call that a mistake and a coincidence. But 3 times. 3 fucking times. These weren't just predators on Rebecca's server. They were predators on Rebecca's team that she did nothing about when alerted to. I'm speaking in the past tense. She's still doing this right now as this video is being made. Brandon is still in her server during the production of this video. For all of the shit that the entire internet gave her for the Nekopan situation, she has learned nothing. Less than nothing. This is a repeated pattern of behavior. It is not a mistake. She spent years on the internet ranting about pedophilia and pedophiles. This Loud House episode, that pony episode, Doofenshmirtz is gonna kill the pedophiles. Let's make a video on Cosmodor. Let's almost get sued by calling Julia Vickerman a pedophile. It all comes across as projection now. And you know what? Maybe it is. We have to talk about Rebecca's own grooming behavior. And I'm not going to say that it's alleged grooming behavior. It is a fact. She did it. And I am ready to go to court if this bitch tries to sue me for what I am about to state.
I care very much about Wes, and I want to help him get his feelings sorted so that we can move on with our lives. That's really what I want out of this situation. I just want you to leave us out of this shit.
When I fired Rebecca in 2021, my team did an internal investigation. It was in regards to her general work behavior, her narcissism, small potatoes. One question that didn't come up during that investigation was, has this person groomed you? Because I guess that I made the mistake of thinking that I lived in a sane world. Someone named Hope did a testimony in my first video on Rebecca. He goes by Wes now. And in the course of this investigation, we have discovered that Rebecca has exhibited grooming behaviors towards him, and towards the other editor that quote-unquote replaced her, Coda. In Rebecca's behemoth of a video, she outs Coda's diaper fetish, calling it creepy. And it traumatized her because she has PTSD regarding diapers.
I guess I should be lucky that I got in trouble in October and not later, because if it happened to me in 2022, I probably would have rage rant about other things, like how the editor that replaced me has a creepy diaper fetish. For the record, I know I talked about Coda before, and I actually do have PTSD on diapers for personal reasons, so it's not an attack on Coda. But I'm just saying that in the public eye, it's probably best not to display this.
You see, she obtained this PTSD because her dog was put into diapers before they died.
The breaking point when I knew we had to put him down was when my mom suggested putting Chow in diapers. I couldn't bear the thought of my own dog being in diapers, and that put me in a trance. So yeah, enter firing me and replacing me with a person that had my own fear as a fetish didn't put things in a good light. Fuck Coda's fetish. It creeps me out and now gives me personal trauma.
Yes, that is the reason that she claims to have PTSD related to diapers. And she outs Coda for this particular reason, calling his fetish creepy. Alright then, If kink shaming is on the table, let's get this out of the way. Rebecca's fetishes are built into her entire persona. Giantesses are what gets her going the most, masturbating 5 times a day. But as you can see, her current avatar, she also likes belly buttons and rubber. And the 24 porn channels on her Discord server shows that she has a wide range of tastes. Vor, femboy, fuda, both yuri and yaoi, because apparently she's diverse like that. She also seems to particularly like porn of people in the storytime animation community. You know, actually real people, like Sugar and Jaden Animations. Rebecca favorites this stuff on her main account. She's not hiding it. She also seemed to actually branch out to that diaper fetish that she thought was creepy, because she commissioned cover art while trying to stay anonymous. But she still used the same hairstyle of her avatar, because Rebecca's favorite genre of porn is pornography of herself, to the point where, if there's a dearth of it, she's forced to ask on her server for more. Even ignoring the kink-shaming aspect of this, I have no idea why Rebecca has a problem with Coda's fetish now, because she didn't seem to have one when Coda was 17. In this investigation, Coda and Wes released their entire DM history with Rebecca. With Coda's, it starts with my best editor ever asking the newbie for editing advice, linking a video that proves that yes, this is indeed Star Giant Productions. Thank you, Rebecca. Couldn't have implicated you without you. Then, in the very same DM, she links Coda to her Not Safe for Work Discord server. He tells her that he is not yet of age, and Rebecca does not immediately close the conversation. She lets him in, only to change her mind on it. Instead of, not continuing this conversation the second that Coda says that he's not yet of age. Then she goes on to tell him not to post porn. Then she comes back in March, asking, are you over 18 yet? And lets him back into the Not Safe for Work server as a freshly minted major. Their last messages are about Rebecca wondering why Wes has blocked her. Let's find out why Wes has blocked Rebecca. Well, that's not suspicious at all. In December of 2019, Wes was 17, and here Rebecca is commissioning for fetish artwork. Yeah, you always seem to leave the belly button out of the drawing. It needs to be shown, and well exposed. And then we have this time with Wes and Rebecca talking about who is going to be the biggest giantess. For the record, this isn't ERP on Wes's end. Wes did not know that Rebecca had this particular kink. He was 17 in this screenshot. Wes's birthday was March 22nd, 2020. I know this, and Rebecca knew this, because when Wes turned 18, Rebecca made a joke about needing to watch out for Quagmire.
But the claims get even worse than that, though. Apparently I'm a pedophile.
Because that's just what you do when someone turns 18 in the world of Rebecca. Because this isn't the only time that she made this joke to a just-turned 18-year-old. Rebecca was making a birthday video for someone named Lovely Lena. And as you can see here in the script sent to Wes, Lena had just turned 18. Who was Lovely Lena? The minor that Rebecca had dated and planned to move in with. In the year 2020, Rebecca was 24. During that time, Rebecca assured as many people as possible that her girlfriend was 18 years of age. And at the time of this screenshot, Lena was 18. Lena turned 18 only a few weeks prior, on September 9th, 2020. Rebecca may be stupid, but she does know the law. And she's not going to obviously state that she's breaking the law. As far as I can tell, Rebecca never stated that she was dating Lovely Lena until she turned 18. But straight away, Rebecca planned on moving in with Lovely Lena to Concord, New Hampshire. Out of state for both of them. This plan fell through, ironically enough, because my own cyberstalker living in New Hampshire started harassing Rebecca. Life has strange turns, I tell you what. Lovely Lena has since escaped Rebecca, and according to Rebecca, doing that is considered abuse. Rebecca may claim to be above board, legally speaking, and who knows, maybe she is.
Seriously, people, if the drawing in question is not based off a real person, then it is not a crime.
That's not my determination. It'll be the determination of the lawyers and the authorities. So, I briefly want to talk about Grace's DMs with Rebecca, because we absolutely have to talk about Grace's DMs with Rebecca. If you're wondering why this very important part of the video seems like an afterthought, Grace's DMs weren't released until this video was mostly done, due to technical difficulties. But yes, even though this video is done, we're still investigating Rebecca, going into archives, talking to people, all of that. Our investigation is not done even though the video is. Grace's DMs are about 3 years of conversation. 90% of them is Rebecca overworking and underpaying Grace. This was talked about in my first video response to Rebecca, but we did not go into this deep enough. It is so much worse than anyone on the team even thought. We'll be talking more about that, though, on a stream that I'll tell you more about at the end of this video, but I felt that I had to give some special attention to this specific DM that I showed earlier in the video, and also explain why it's so poorly integrated into this one. I don't have much to specifically say because I do think that this DM speaks for itself, but it just adds a whole new dimension to how fucked up all of this was. Rebecca, at 24, planned on moving in with this 17-year-old, out of state, as soon as they turned 18, someone who Rebecca also called her closest friend. But in the end, Rebecca broke up with Lena because Lena called the child predator Nekopan an abuser. Like, what the actual fuck? This DM also proves that this 17-year-old and a child predator were both in Rebecca's circle at the same time. And it proves that Rebecca was making this plan to move in with someone who was, at the time, 17, while Rebecca was defending a child predator. This is the entire experience of this video, finding so many new revelations that just make everything so much more awful. Back to the video. Hopefully you won't get any more interruptions like this. Even if Rebecca has somehow managed to skirt the law on all of this shit, she has not only created an environment of child predation, she has allied herself with child predation, and she has taken part in child predation. Rebecca Koreski is a danger to others. She is a danger to minors. She's not even just a danger to minors. She is a danger to anyone she comes into contact with, and she takes advantage of anyone that she can. And I'm going to go through all of the other pain and suffering that I've uncovered in our investigation of the kind of piece of shit that Rebecca really is.
Maybe I'm just looking for closure that I'm never going to get, because every time my wounds start to scab over, Rebecca likes to run over and open them right back up again for content.
Let's now talk directly about Rebecca's 3-hour-long video entitled Addressing My Abuse. Because I had 2 testimonies in my video on Rebecca, she managed to one-up me with 5 testimonies. She got 5 of her associates, all the way from artists down to her goddamn next-door neighbor, to testify against me. Rebecca tried to go after me in any way that she possibly could. She took note of my Homer Badman review in particular. Well, actually, Lily Orchard took notice of it, but Rebecca sniped that point. Because Rebecca has gone from Lily Orchard is garbage and here's why, to Lily Orchard's biggest defender on the internet.
It has always bothered me when people go after my old bad Lily Orchard videos. People requested me to make more videos on her for years. Like, yes, she's bad, but can you please move on? There are plenty of worse people out there.
Which, if you know anything about Lily Orchard, it shouldn't surprise you that Rebecca is her biggest fan at this point. I made a controversial point in that Homer Badman review, and I'm not going to deny that. Way back when, I said that I, personally, would prefer to be raped instead of accused of rape, up until the point that my would-be rapist got pregnant. And then, in my opinion, being raped would be the worst experience. In my defense, I could point to things like what happened with Pro Jared. But this isn't about the point. I don't care about the point. It's about how Rebecca decided to argue against my point. In response to this point, Rebecca coerces someone in her circle to go into vivid detail about how they were raped.
I want to bring up the fact that I myself have dealt with abuse, especially the kind related to being sexually molested as a child. But then something happened when I started to become a preteen that changed. Like a weird switch got turned on in his brain. Like it led bigger and bigger. First, he started to show me adult content, if you know what I mean. He then started to touch me inappropriately, but I didn't really realize that. But what I did know is that I didn't like it. Unfortunately, due to my lack of understanding of what was going on, when I did try to speak up about it at first, I miscategorized it as tickling. In my school, we had a video where it talked about like how that kind of stuff happens with people, and that's when I realized what exactly was going on. Some of what was happening in the video was exactly happening to me. Next thing I know, the police are at my house. I was prompted with the possibility of trying those activities out again with my stepfather. Out of my sheer curiosity, I let it. And I still feel bad about it even to this day. Or if it was, the grooming was so severe that it fucked me up that much. It still hurts to this day when I really truly think about it.
I'm keeping this person anonymous for obvious reasons. And in the course of making this video, this was the first time, not the last, that I had to stop and break down. You know what, Rebecca? Fine, you win on this point. Point to Rebecca Królewski. She wins the point! All it took was coercing a mentally ill woman to relive the worst trauma that she's ever experienced and publicly display it on the internet. Someone Rebecca called a friend. Someone who called Rebecca a friend. Congratulations, Rebecca! This is how she treats the people in her circle. Constantly. Another one of these testimonies goes into detail about how Rebecca helped her deal with her mother's farting fetish, which is apparently the only fetish next to diapers that's gross according to the most sex-crazed woman that I've ever known.
Like when things got really bad with my mom, and whenever she got all violent and started yelling or farting around the house, she even gave me advice on how to handle my mom and her gross fart obsession. My mom, unfortunately, has a really disgusting fart fetish. I love my dad, and he has no fart fetish. My mom only just started the book when suddenly she had to go to the bathroom, so she paused the reading and left. It took her 44 minutes to come out of that goddamn bathroom. Why? She was having the time of her life in there.
This farting fetish thing turned out to be a riot in the comments, and on places like Kiwi Farms. It's become a bit of a meme, and you can kind of see why. We have this ASMR voice talking about an adult woman shitting in an elementary school, and I can see why people find it funny. I don't. Let me ask this to the sane people in the world. Would you let your friend, someone that you know and care about and want to tell, would you let them make a video talking about their mother's fart fetish on the internet? Or would you maybe, I don't know, try and stop them? Rebecca didn't stop this person from talking about her mother's fart fetish on the internet. Rebecca asked them to do this. Rebecca asked them to do this to defend Rebecca. Rebecca worked on this 3-hour video for over a year. And the entire time, she never reconsidered this point. She never decided that this might be embarrassing to this person that she calls a friend. This person who calls Rebecca a friend. And for what? Does this make any point to anyone about anything? The entire 3-hour video is like this constantly, by the way. All interspersed with Rebecca implicating herself in everything that she's ever done.
I don't copy off other people for the record, I get inspired. People said I got fired for plagiarism. Ironically enough, I flunked college for that reason alone. Even the wiki on me hates me. Yeah, apparently I have a wiki page on Mr. Enter's Wiki. It's nothing but negative talk. Apparently wikis are easy to edit. So when I came across this, I think in May of last year, and it was filled with misinformation, like the site using my dead name, I edited it. Here is the edited version. Now this one is more correct, but then they changed it back.
No joke. At one point, there's a screenshot that she put in where Sarah is criticizing Rebecca for one of the behaviors that got her fired before she got fired. Something that Rebecca repeatedly claims never fucking happened. But Rebecca ignores Sarah because she was more concerned that the person that she was attempting to groom blocked her. Rebecca put this in her own video. I didn't have to go digging to find this. It was in her response video. I didn't even have to dig up this screenshot in my own server. Honestly, because I'm still under the delusion that I live in some form of a sane world. I have to believe that Rebecca isn't quite as stupid as she really lets on. Either that, or she's the luckiest fucking dumbass to ever exist. The few people who did sit through this video couldn't navigate their way through this word salad.
Soul is also about piano music. Piano is the soul of humans.
And so what became the talk of the town is this random person's mother's farting fetish. You know, instead of Rebecca coming up with 2 different stories on Nekopan. Instead of Rebecca explaining and laying down exactly what she did wrong with the Sean Sewer situation. And who knows what even I couldn't find. And if you'll believe it, the script of the video was even longer than it, with some stupid-ass points that didn't even make it in. Like this argument that Rebecca hated welfare, despite, being disabled. Which is also something that Rebecca doubled down on later. Yeah, Rebecca does seem like the kind of person who would like that Fudge Round song. Also, this trans woman, to this day, keeps misgendering and dead-naming Wes, the person that she once again attempted to groom.
I fucking hate... My name is Rebecca. Is dead. I don't like people dead naming. I hate it when people call me a man or a boy. I'm a woman. And like I said earlier, I don't dead name people.
Rebecca keeps claiming that calling her Star Giant Productions is dead naming.
And it was filled with misinformation, like the site using my dead name.
And yet, at the same time, she actually uses her dead name as the title of her flagship series on her channel. But don't worry, Rebecca. I will keep calling you Rebecca Królewski all throughout this video. I hope you're happy. She also apparently doesn't get the problem with seizures, and prefers them to a standard YouTube practice.
Also, the seizures, if you can even call them that, are nowhere as bad as the problem solvers. And even then, I actually have more of a problem with blurs. Like when Sarah or Koda showed sidebars of blurs, it makes it look like two of the same character. This student has been cloned. Is this a cloning episode? Seriously, how the fuck did this effect take off? Because it's not just these two doing it, it's like everyone. Stop this effect. It's a terrible effect. It's the worst effect ever. Stop doing it.
Rebecca, people have died due to seizures. Of the 5 testimonies that Rebecca had, we've dealt with 2. 2 more I don't give a shit about. The final one, though, is by her former artist, Maddie. This is the one that Rebecca hurried, didn't properly pay, didn't properly credit, and then finally replaced him with Sean Soar, the pervert posting pictures of an 11-year-old girl in bikinis. And in the production of this video, we reached out to him. Here, in his own words, is what working with Rebecca was like.
Hi, I'm Maddie, Rebecca's now former artist, thumbnail editor, whatever you want to call me, but this time on John's channel. First things first, my old testimony on Rebecca's 3-hour video, scrap it, skip it, I don't stand by it anymore in the slightest. Especially with things that have happened before and after that video came out. A few weeks before Rebecca asked me to testify for her, a very discomforting incident occurred. I was in the midst of making her big year-end drawing for her Amphibia Top 10 video when I made some offhanded comment about it. I said the eyes made her look a bit quote-unquote seductive, at which point she said that if I masturbate to any photos of her, don't let my girlfriend at the time catch me doing it. When she said this, it made me deeply uncomfortable and it felt just on borderline sexual harassment. Not helping was the fact that I was dealing with depression at the time after the death of a friend of mine. Made much worse was the fact that both of us had girlfriends at the time, so if you want to classify that as cheating, then by all means. From that point, I decided to internally give her 3 strikes, and when she surpassed all 3 of them, I would quit my job and leave her for good. The first strike was when the abuse video released and how she gave the big infamous statement in her script and how she hates people who live off of disability income like I do. The second was when she posted nude photos of herself on her Discord server. I'm not joking. I was in a mall when that happened, and when I saw those, it almost made me throw up. The third was last June when she harassed Mr. Enter on DeviantArt, basically rendering her Be Better video completely pointless. That was when I finally quit my job. If she's willing to go to such efforts to make both videos on Mr. Enter only to backpedal and consistently hate on him, then what was the point of making the Be Better video at all? But oh no, she somehow added more strikes. The first bonus strike was when she told me to give up on my girlfriend who left me. This was during my time of serious depression. That was a lot worse than the first incident. Another bonus strike was when she wrote this quote-unquote contract, where if you quote-unquote sign it, you have to let her use your OC and avatar in any video she wants, whether you want her to or not. I know this because my avatar is in her Finding Dory video, even though I didn't sign it. A third bonus strike was when I didn't receive payment for a bedroom background I drew for her latest ranking video. And luckily wouldn't have received payment for it had my best friend in real life not given her shit for it. That one really made me want to cut ties with her for good. And she still thinks I'm desperate enough to ask for my job back? If that doesn't prove that Rebecca is not only deluded, but desperate to make her channel peak in popularity, I don't know what will. I cut her off for good and blocked her on all my social platforms, and as such, she lies about me and my mutuals to my other mutuals. She says she cut ties with us because we're the abusers, when it was literally the other way around across the board. When I saw that, I went on an anger-filled rant about it to my friends. And if those people are watching, just know that all I want for you guys is to just string away from Rebecca's nonsense because you all deserve to live much better lives. And I'm sorry if me being here let you guys down, but some of you, please, open your eyes. Rebecca is dragging you all through the mud, and I don't think that's something I can forgive.
Maddie is a wonderful artist. You're seeing a lot of his work now. He's done the thumbnail for this video, and we'll be leaving links to his socials if you're looking for someone to hire. Just, remember to pay and credit him. Rebecca has a hard time doing that. We found 2 pieces of art on Rebecca's Twitter that were stolen, and here's their sources that we backtraced. Maddie is one of the lucky ones. He got out of Rebecca's circle. There are a lot of people still caught in Rebecca's web. Not all of them are bad people. Some of them are Brandon, but there are many of them who stay with Rebecca because she is that much of a manipulator. And so many of them are just too nice for their own good to properly tell this person who is preying on them exactly where they can shove it. One particularly egregious thing that Rebecca did is her Smash or Pass video, where she has this quote-unquote funny skit of dragging in a person who identifies as asexual to quote-unquote play along with it.
And today we are playing Smash or Pass.
Wait, what?
Yeah, for My Little Pony Day this year, I wanted to do a Smash or Pass for My Little Pony.
Ah, okay. But quick confession to you all, I'm asexual.
Huh?
Yeah, I might be a bisexual panic, but I'm asexual. So for me, smashing any pony is out of the question. I mean, I could say I smash for the ponies and other characters I wouldn't mind dating, or kissing, or cuddling, no issue. But I wouldn't exactly do the hanky-panky.
Why are you here then?
Good point. See you later, Rebecca.
No, stay!
Huh? I don't think this is for me.
But you must stay. You will become more famous, more popular, and reach peace!
Grooming is most often used in terms of an adult grooming a minor for sex, and that is because it is the worst kind of grooming. What needs to be understood is that adults can be groomed too, and for things other than sexual purposes, like doing work for a little pay and no credit, and standing by her, no matter how much shit comes out about her. I want to make this absolutely clear. If Rebecca was just throwing a hissy fit at me for years and years on end, thinking that I ruined her life, I could deal with that. I really could. I don't give a fuck that she thinks that I'm an abuser, or whatever the hell she wants to say about me. Life is too short to care about assholes. But Rebecca is not your average everyday asshole. She is so much more. And I also want this to be stated. Do not approach this person, in any regards. Not out of curiosity, not out of memes, not out of harassment. Rebecca Królewski is dangerous. And quite honestly, if she is as stupid as she portrays herself, that makes her more dangerous. Let me put it this way. Her verbal gaffes and her embarrassing stories about herself make her seem funny, harmless, defanged.
My brother would like to punch me whenever I step out of line, most notably for me eating my boogers, because he believed that he was doing something right and making the world a better place, or even making my life a better place. So he was basically a social justice warrior at the age of 5. He did this because some kid in his class got made fun of for picking his nose, and that gave my brother the logic of him wanting to make sure that I didn't do that same mistake. You could blame my brother for why I don't like the right. In politics, that is. I am left-leaning, for the record. Liberal.
But everything that I've uncovered, this person is fucked up.
Nekopan is an artist of mine who started in the MLP list. About a week after that video went up, I got an email saying that she was an abuser. I looked into this, and Neko had to explain to me the correct situation. Well, she didn't explain the correct way. It was more like she explained the situation, and that she accepted that she made past mistakes and toxic behavior. But the problem is that these assholes that were abusing her didn't believe that. After this, I gave Neko a panic attack, and I regret doing so. The panic attack from her was mostly because she didn't want to end up being fired, or end up in the same abusive situation that she did with Phantom Strider. I suppose that could lead to my abuse from Lena. Throughout 2020, I lost a dozen friends, like 12 actual friends. And Lena was the one that I was closest to. Lena had this idea that I would go live with her forever starting last Christmas since she was 18 now. What I didn't realize is that Lena was being abusive and manipulative to me for months. Then she threw me under the bus and said that she would have her parents call the FBI on me or some shit. Even though I have done nothing wrong. The point is, even if she called, I'd lose either way.
This is a person who groomed minors, who enabled groomers and defended them, repeatedly. Rebecca Królewski is the embodiment of the monstrous clown. I can't for sure say that Rebecca's stupidity is all an act. Not for sure at least. But it does too much of a damn good job making her seem a lot less lethal than she truly is. But maybe she is stupid, to the highest degree. Because the stupidest part of this entire story is what she did to finally objectively cross the line where I can actually pursue some kind of legal consequences myself.
Money please.
I gotta tell you, it's some real Al Capone going to jail for tax evasion shit, I swear. In February of 2024, Rebecca had a crowdfunding campaign because she wanted to raise $25,000 for, what was it? Let's watch the trailer.
Witches, creatures that are pure evil, born from the innocence of girls that have gone bad. They terrorize, kill the innocent, lead them to their doom. Humans have always fought back witches, witch burnings, witch trials, all done in their view of what they believe in to protect this place called Earth. Because a witch is pure evil, so saith the human race. But what if one of these witches wasn't evil? What if one witch could be good? Imagine if one of these girls that got cursed and turned into a witch actually still remained their nice selves. Wouldn't that be great? I want to bring you all the story of a witch that was able to beat society, to prove to everyone that she wasn't evil. She's gonna have to go through prejudice, hardship, friend loss, betrayal, and other witch trials per se. This is the story of a witch named Rebecca Starlight, and her friends that she has, both the old and the new. She's gonna prove to the world that a witch can be good. This is a story that I myself have been working on for the past couple of years. It's gonna be my biggest accomplishment ever. It's all done. The writing of the scripts, the search for voice actors and editors. I got them ready. However, there is a hurdle that I sadly must bring up, the financial side. In order for me to bring out the best story that I can to this world, I need some help. In order for me to show you my true talents, I need you guys to support me financially. I understand that it's gonna be expensive, but any sort of donation that leads to my goal will mean the world to me. If you do donate, I will allow people to see this project early when it gets finished, as well as give out rewards like art posters on my series. If you listen to me this far, then you have my respect. I don't know if I will succeed in this, but I will do whatever it takes for me to create this dream project of mine. A project that I've been trying to figure out for the past 10 years of my life. I have finally figured out what it is going to be, and with your help, I can make it a reality. Thank you for listening to me. Let's try to make my dreams come true.
Okay, let's talk about this. This was a flexible funding campaign, meaning that she would get every cent even if she didn't meet her goal, as long as she crossed the threshold of $500, which she just barely did. Some people on the investigation team speculated that she donated the money herself, but that would be an incredibly stupid thing to do, since you have to pay taxes on the money that you get from crowdfunding campaigns. So if Rebecca did that, she'd just donate to not hit her goal and lose money anyway. Back on topic, to the 4 people who did donate and get her across that milestone, what did they end up getting in the end? A self-insert fanfiction of Madoka Magica. I'm not kidding. If you don't believe me, Rebecca even released the scripts herself. They are written like this, full of emojis, random changes in size, and many segments of "I'll write this later."
It's all done. The writing of the scripts, the search for voice actors and editors. I got them ready.
Rebecca Królewski wanted $25,000 for this, something that makes the AI Willy Wonka thing look like an outstanding achievement in quality. Also, this is something that is not legal to make, as it is copyright infringement. I'll show you exactly how.
People said I got fired for plagiarism. Ironically enough, I flunked college for that reason alone.
Oops, wrong clip, I'm sorry. See here, this Cube palette swap? If that's not good enough for you, she plucks names wholeheartedly from the Madoka series. Even with all of this, Rebecca did cross that $500 line, which means that she is on the hook, legally, in some way, shape, or form, to actually get this done. It does not matter that only 4 people donated, one of which is probably Rebecca herself. People paid for this, and legally, they are entitled to get this. And Rebecca isn't just gonna run with the money, is she? No, she's not gonna run with the money at all. That's not good enough in Rebecca land. The fucking day after her crowdfunding campaign ends, we get this video. Rebecca posts something on her Twitter account. Apparently, she got scammed. Some guy was claiming to make Monsters vs. Aliens 2, the movie. And then for no reason, the guy says it'll give Rebecca $3,000 if she keeps on paying increasing increments. It's basically a boomer bait scam that's one level below the Nigerian phone prince. But because Rebecca Królewski is Rebecca Królewski, she keeps donating more and more money, up to $1,700 by her own account. And then she records and uploads her messages of her getting scammed, like it's supposed to prove something.
Allow me to talk about her in Indiegogo myself for a little bit. Call it a coincidence, but right as I gained the confidence to start a Patreon and produce a comic series that also involves witches, Rebecca launches a Kickstarter for a show called Witches, and it's a less tragic, more wholesome ripoff of Madoka Magica. She's even aware of what I've been trying to accomplish, as I posted concept art on her Discord server quite a few times. She even tried getting me to donate to her Indiegogo, and one of her characters shares similar designs and characteristics to one of mine. Since then, I've ranted in comment sections and videos about her Indiegogo and how it will not work. Rebecca, you can spoil and plagiarize as much anime as you want. You can even copy John's Kickstarter campaign idea, but it ain't gonna get you $25,000.
Let me put it this way. Forget that this person is Rebecca. Imagine this same series of events being done by The Completionist or by Butch Hartman. Imagine someone asking for $25,000 in a flexible funding campaign, completely lying about what they're actually doing, getting money out of this, and then the very day the crowdfunding campaign ends, oops, it was all stolen, my bad. To be fair, maybe Rebecca really is just that stupid. If that's the case, she'll have to prove it in court. As this video goes up, we're reporting this crowdfunding campaign to both the FTC and Indiegogo itself. That's not even the most damning thing that Rebecca has done, legally speaking. Let's talk slander and libel. For someone who seems to be familiar with these words, for someone who almost got sued under these words, she has a hard time actually comprehending them. Because Rebecca has been doing this shit a lot. Her entire ban list is basically just filled with defamation. Now, I will say, defamation claims like libel and slander are notoriously hard to prosecute, when it comes to public figures at least. For example, I am a public figure. For me to win a defamation case, someone would need to knowingly lie about me with malicious intent, and I'd also need to prove that damages had occurred. And would you believe it? Rebecca is so incompetent that she has fallen squarely into creating a case of libel and defamation against me, a public figure. In the production of this video, I've had to listen to 5 hours of her stream of broken consciousness, just once again, implicating herself in the worst way possible in every possible scandal. For something that is notoriously hard to prosecute, she has given me an open and shut case, which I am going to pursue. But it's not just me either. Some of the people she shit talks are private figures, or at least borderline private figures. Jordan, Chico Cheese, was not a public figure when Rebecca started her childish tantrums. He's only recently walked in that space with his comic series. Grace is also arguably not a public figure, but Wes, who she seems to shit on the second most next to me, once again, the person she attempted to groom, is not a public figure by any stretch of the imagination. And there's also one other illegal thing that Rebecca did. One teensy little thing that we weren't even expecting to find. Rebecca apparently had private recordings of our conversations in our private work server that she just took for no reason, and that she just handed out to the first person that asked her in her own server. I'm keeping 2 of these secret for legal purposes, but here's one for you now to enjoy.
They got nothing better to do. Sometimes they shape their identity by the people they hate.
Yep.
What I'm trying to say is people find all sorts of ways to fill their meaningless lives with distractions.
That's
I think meaningless. I think that when you're at the point of identifying your identity to hating people, you've long since lost meaning.
Well, here's the thing.
I guess.
Wasn't that just riveting? Doesn't that completely prove Rebecca's side of our feud? If you don't know, both Rebecca and I live in a 2-party consent state. This means that she needs my permission to record me, and also to display it. Those are both separate crimes. And no, Rebecca did not get my permission to record. Once again, no one even there knew that she was recording, let alone gave Rebecca permission to record. Rebecca, I hope recording us was worth the $10,000 of fines and 5 years in prison for each count. I'm not a lawyer, but I am confident in saying that what she did was illegal. Also, this helps to prove defamation, because there really is only 2 possibilities for these recordings. 1, she either records everyone all the time because she is as paranoid as Dale Gribble, or 2, the biggest lie that she keeps repeating, that she didn't know that we were going to fire her. And this is recording ahead of time to try to get some dirt that she failed to find. Same reason why she has the screenshots of our server, which she somehow had despite being banned from our server the second that she was fired. As this video goes up, the next course of action of the investigation team is to report as much as what we found to as many authorities as we can find. Much of this already has been reported, if everything has gone according to plan. This video is not monetized. This was intentional. I didn't want to censor myself as much as possible. Any censorship has just been done to avoid being age-gated. I wanted to talk about Rebecca's crimes as starkly as I possibly could. Unfortunately, lawsuits and lawyers are expensive. In the next few weeks or so, I will be figuring out exactly how to pursue civil and criminal charges against Rebecca Królewski with the entire investigation team, with any and all legal recourse that I possibly can. And to do that, I'll have to make a GoFundMe. It's not something that I want to do, but as I said, lawyers and lawsuits are expensive, and Rebecca needs to pay for everything that she's done. If this whole ordeal was just me, I wouldn't ask. If you can't spare a few bucks, that's fine. All I really ask is that you spread this video as much as possible. Rebecca is not a joke. She's not just a thorn in my side anymore. She has hurt so many people. My closest friends, and so many people that I didn't even know were suffering in such terrible ways. Members of the team are going to try and do what they can to help Rebecca's many, many victims. A question that I know will be asked is, why me? Why did Mr. Enter make a video on Star Giant Production? Even though I've done it before, I'm not a drama guy. I don't like making videos like this. It's once every few years at most. That's even taking into consideration that everyone knows that Rebecca is tangential to me. And I will say, Rebecca's continued existence on the internet does make me feel, guilty isn't the wrong word, but I feel actually and actively dirty that I may have given Rebecca any sort of relevance by bringing her into my staff. As for why me making this video, for the longest time, I guess I was expecting someone else to do it. This wasn't my area of expertise, and I thought that Rebecca was the kind of lolcow that tends to attract attention. But no one came. There was always bigger fish to fry. She would have completely avoided attention from the world around her if she didn't fuck up so bad during the whole Necopon situation. But even from my distance to the whole event, I learned more and more and more. I couldn't sit on my hands anymore. I had to do something, 'cause, well, somebody had to do something. I had to just put all of this shit to a stop. And as I investigated myself, it seemed that no one else had the full picture on exactly who Rebecca Królewski really is. And many of the people who did try to get involved ended up making things so much worse. What I'm about to say is only tangentially related, but it has to be stated. A name that kept coming up again and again in the Star Giant Productions investigation was Mystic Mongrel. Fuck Mystic Mongrel. They are worse than Rebecca. The shit that she's allegedly done is something that I will never ever forgive. And if Mongrel gets close to any member of my team ever again, they are next to get a video like this, and I will find every measure I can to contact law enforcement. I don't even care. The things that Mongrel is accused of made me feel nauseous and also caused me to break down. I got nauseous a lot during this video. I was horrified a lot during this video. Even had to cry at times. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I haven't had a good night's sleep in a week. People laugh at Rebecca. I'm going to continue to say, I don't find this funny. She can say as much stupid shit as she wants. That's not the point. I didn't imagine that the rabbit hole went as deep as it did. And I have a feeling that this is only the tip of the iceberg. You know, I portray myself as a detective solving mysteries here, but I really am only an amateur when it comes to these real-life, super serious situations. I can't believe that Rebecca is as stupid as she portrays herself. And my darkest nightmares, the worst fear of this whole situation, is that Rebecca is not as shameless as she lets on. This person that displays her crimes for the world to see admits that she did wrong proudly, thinks somehow admitting every single crime she did exonerates her. She displays her fetishes out in the open, including sexualized depictions of minors, sexualized depictions of real people in the YouTube community. Does this person really have no shame? Or is there something darker in the closet lurking just under the surface? I hope not. I'd like to be able to sleep again tonight. I also hope it's clear why I had to make this video. And I hope to any divine power it's the last time that I ever have to make one like this. Rebecca, I say this to you. I am going to pursue every legal and criminal channel against you possible. I do not care if I bleed myself dry and use everything I've got. You have gone too far. I know I'll never get through to you. I'll never change you. I'll never convince you that you did anything wrong. I know that. You will never change. You will always be this broken person. But I will do whatever I can to try and help the people that you've hurt, and also stop more people from getting into your web. And I'm not letting you run. Rebecca, my team has archived everything. Your entire internet presence. Every video on your channel has been downloaded. Your Twitter, your DeviantArt, your Discord server. It's all archived. You are not allowed to run.
I have a rule about my takes. If they are 2022 and onwards, they are fair game. But anything 2021 prior is not allowed.
Yeah, let's see if that's a good legal defense, fucker. If you try to jump to another account, we will find it, we will identify it, I will put it on blast. You are not escaping this, Rebecca. This is who you are. This is your presence on the internet. Forever. As long as I still stand. To my audience, please signal boost this as much as possible. I want as many people as possible to know who Rebecca is and what she has done. If you make a video on Rebecca, send it to my social media email. As long as the video is accurate and doesn't break TOS, we will make a community post featuring every video we get sent through here, once a week. And while the next few weeks will be very busy, the team will do our best to accept and reply to interviews. I'm even going to leave my Twitter DMs open. That should let you know how serious the situation is. Tomorrow, I'm planning on having a stream at 8 p.m. Eastern to further talk about Rebecca and answer any questions that you guys might have. I'll see you all then. Please stay safe and take care. My name is Jonathan Rosansky, the mysterious Mr. Enter, signing out. Regular programming will resume shortly.